Hey guys, it's Steffry from the New York City Explorer. Today I will be reading to you guys and hopefully help you fall asleep. I will be reading a short story from my own book, The Bitten Apple, short stories from New York. And the story I will be reading, it is called The Plants, and hopefully you guys will be able to fall asleep after this. So sit back, relax, and just enjoy. The Plants. It was past midnight when Robert Walter finally made it home. He was welcomed by an empty house. He was relieved to finally be alone. Today had been an exhausting day. As Robert closed the front door, he felt as if he was being watched. He was watched all day, and now he just wanted to be left alone. The living room was dark, and the plants on the windowsill cast shadows along the couch. Robert walked up to the bar and poured himself a whiskey without turning on the light. After living in the big house for more than 30 years, he knew the layout, no matter how many times his wife changed it. He swallowed the whiskey in one gulp and threw the glass on the hardwood floor. The shattering glass echoed in the empty house. He fell to his knees and cried. His sobs echoed throughout the house. He would never have imagined this is where life would take him. He held it in all day for the sake of his 4 grown kids, but now he was alone. He shook as he sobbed even harder. Robert now knew he would spend the rest of his life alone. Alone in a colonial house. He never would have imagined that his wife would pass away before him. When he married the love of his life 35 years ago, he always thought he would be the first to die. Today it felt like a dream, and he could not believe it was happening until he saw her in the coffin. She was wearing a pink dress with blue flowers, makeup done, and her hair parted in the middle, flowing down to her chest. He whispered to himself many times during the funeral, "This isn't real," he thought. After the funeral, his family surrounded him, and he was suffocated by their apologies and their condolences. He held it all together until he got home. Robert picked himself off the floor, sat on the gray sectional, and wiped his tears. He made sure to wipe it on his suit and not on the couch. His wife loved the couch, and everything in their home was perfectly selected by her. From the gold mirror and table in the foyer with the beautiful flowers sitting on top, to the custom-made 14-seat dining room table. When she redesigned the house, she added a tasteful touch of modern to classy. It was a perfect mix. She got rid of everything in the house and replaced it with classy, modern pieces. Everything except the plants. The plants were her babies aside from her kids. The plants overwhelmed the house. There were plants in every single room of the house, even the bathrooms. Robert's wife had a green thumb and believed that plants made a happy home. She put all the plants on a schedule, watering, fertilizing, propagating. Robert knew all of this because she had plants even before they met. She would drag him to Home Depot for supplies and end up buying even more plants. Over the years, they eventually owned every single houseplant known to man. Robert was proud of his wife, and he felt ashamed of himself for throwing the glass. She would be furious with him, he thought, as he went to the kitchen for the broom. As he moved along the house into the kitchen, the plants seemed to follow. They were curious. They watched him as he swept the broken glass, and he felt it. The plants overran the house, and the presence was felt by anyone who walked through the door. Robert cried as he swept, remembering the memories with his wife. The plants have lived here longer than the kids. The plants watched as he fell in love with his wife, as they got married, and as they had their kids, as they moved into their new house in Buffalo, New York. They watched as the kids grew older and older, and as the kids had their kids. The plants were rooted into their entire life. Robert finished sweeping and walked up to the grand stairs to their bedroom. As he made his way to the master bedroom, he noticed the plants' vibrant colors were now dull. Did they know she was no longer here? The master bedroom was done in a modern flower theme with touches of gold. He lied to his wife when he told her he hated it. However, he secretly loved it, even if he couldn't admit it. It felt as if spring was giving you a hug, and he became happy anytime he entered the bedroom. The plants in the bedroom were his wife's favorite. The entrance to the master bedroom were two massive snake plants. They were the oldest plants they had, and throughout the years it had grown to over 9 feet tall. On the windowsills there were calla lily gardens. In the winter they were empty but started to grow by early March. When the summer came, they were in full bloom. His wife made sure that all the floors were hardwood for the plants. She loved the contrast of the lively green against the wood. On the right-hand corners of the room between the large TV and stand were Hoya rope plants. One plant hung on each corner, and when it bloomed, the room's theme was complete. On the other side of the room, on each corner of the massive king-size bed, was a giant peace lily. His wife made sure to make the room feel vibrant and inviting. As he pulled his suit off and put on his PJs, he wondered how was he going to maintain the plants. His wife had always told him to make sure to take care of the plants if something was to happen to her. She made it perfectly clear to pass the plants down to their children. Each plant was selected to be inherited by a specific child of theirs. When their grandkids came, she changed the will to include a plant to each grandchild. He sat on the bed and stared at the Hoya plants. They were his favorites and were quite interesting to look at. These were the plants he was inheriting. Before her death, he never maintained them. She did all the work, and he appreciated all the fruits of her labor. He then turned to stare at the calla lily garden on the windowsills. The once bright flowers were now dull against the night outside the window. He started to cry once more, knowing the plants had noticed their mother was gone. He wrapped himself against her pillow and sobbed into the gold silk sheets. This wasn't supposed to happen, he thought. She was supposed to outlive him. He was alone in the room, but he didn't feel lonely. The plants watched him cry, and cried along with him as they too suffered a tragic loss. The end. If you do want more stories, it is available on Amazon, and the link is right below. Bye guys.